Hello everyone and welcome to the latest edition of Miami Total Football. Gonzalo Higuain made his anticipated Inter Miami debut on Sunday night, but it wasn't the debut anyone was expecting. Inter Miami lost 3-0 to the Philadelphia Union in a rainy match at Subaru Park, and Higuain missed a penalty kick in the second half of his first match in Major League Soccer. Higuain had a chance and a golden opportunity to bring Inter Miami back into the match when it was 2-0 in the 77th minute, but he sent his spot kick high and wide of the frame, and it just kind of summed up the type of night it was for Inter Miami. Overall, the team just wasn't good enough over the course of the 90 minutes. They had good moments of play, especially when Higuain got involved and got on the ball to try to make things happen, particularly in the first half, but just wasn't enough from Inter Miami. It was another example, another case of failing to finish in front of goal, not only on the Higuain penalty kick, but on other opportunities that they had throughout the match. And then there were the costly defensive mistakes at the back that also led to their undoing. The first one came in the 25th minute off of Victor Ulloa turnover at midfield. Ulloa hit a sloppy and unnecessary floated pass in the middle following a throw-in from the right, and the Union intercepted the ball, quickly hit back, and scored through a strong finish. The second goal and the third goal, they both also came off of plays that started with throw-ins, Inter Miami throw-ins, which is going to drive Diego Alonso nuts probably when he watches back the game film. The second goal came in the 69th minute, shortly after Andres Reyes left the match with a head injury, and again, it came off a throw-in that Inter Miami had in its half. They weren't able to play cleanly with the ball, and the Philadelphia Union ended up bringing it back the other way, and they carved open Inter Miami's defense with some nice passing, some nice movement. Questions have to be asked about what Blaise Matuidi was doing in that sequence, why he didn't track back with more intensity or with more vigor, but all the same, Inter Miami ended up giving up the second goal to substitute Ilsinho, who tapped in from close range on a complete defensive breakdown. As for the third goal, again, another throw-in for Inter Miami. This one comes a little bit more of a direct result of Dylan Nealis dawdling on the ball a little too much. He gets the ball taken from him, and Philadelphia Union make it 3-0 off a good finish from young sensation Brendan Aronson. Now, if there were good things from this one for Inter Miami, it was probably the overall play of Gonzalo Higuain. The striker showed well again in that first half. Obviously faded a bit as the game wore on, as he tired and his legs got heavy. This was his first game since August 7th, but he looked and showed quality when he got on the ball. He was able to open the field with good passes, was able to make things happen on his own. One play in the 13th minute where he received a pass and cut by a defender very cleverly before taking a shot that just went over the crossbar. 7 minutes later, he had another opportunity, this time off a cross from Nicolas Figal, and Higuain pulled off an overhead kick that nicked off the outside part of the far post. If he would have put that one in, it would have been a viral moment surely around the world, because the goal in his debut would have been a spectacular one, but it wasn't to be. He goes on to miss a penalty kick on a play that could have maybe changed the game in Miami's favor, could have maybe given them some momentum towards the closing stages of the match, but it was not to be, and it underscored what was another frustrating and another disappointing night in a season full of them for Inter Miami.
We can't feel sorry for ourselves. We need to just keep working hard, and with the players we've got, I know we can turn this around and go on a run. Plenty of games left.
So what can Inter Miami do at this point in the season? Obviously, Higuain's going to get further integrated into the group, and he's going to get more of his legs underneath him as he gets more matches and more minutes, and that will certainly be a plus for the team. But one thing that Diego Alonso might want to consider is swapping in Will Trapp for Victor Ulloa in that midfield. Obviously, Victor Ulloa has started every game to this point, one of the few players to do that for Diego Alonso, but this game and others throughout the course of the season have shown that he can be a bit limited. Obviously, Will Trapp's defensive frailties and deficiencies are well documented, but with Blaise Matuidi at his side, maybe Will Trapp can perform at a better level than he's shown to this point. I thought he played well off the bench, moved the ball pretty well. The Union at that point were obviously trying to protect their 2-0 lead, so that helped him play a little bit more comfortably than he might otherwise, but it might be worth looking at this point in the season, given that things in that midfield just don't seem to be clicking, and things on the team as a whole just do not seem to be clicking. Now, there was some other news that came out with regards to Inter Miami in recent hours. Roman Torres is reportedly heading back to the Seattle Sounders via a trade. That's news that I can confirm via my sources. Roman Torres is heading back to Seattle, where he spent the past 5 seasons in MLS, and it's a result of him just not getting minutes and falling out of favor with head coach Diego Alonso. If you remember, Roman Torres began the year as a starting center back. He played the first 2 matches of the season in the heart of the defense, got a red card in the week 2 match against DC United, and then played twice more, or started 2 more games during MLS is back, but that was about it for him from a performance standpoint. He played just 1 minute since that tournament in Orlando, Florida, and it was clear he was in trouble, or it was clear that his days were numbered last week against the New York Red Bulls, when Christian Makoun was recalled from his USL loan to serve as an option on the bench, while Roman Torres just wasn't in the matchday roster. And for Torres, it's probably a case of him just not fitting the style of play that Diego Alonso wants. Diego Alonso obviously wants center backs that can pass out of the back, and the introduction of Leandro Gonzalez Pires this summer helped them get another center back that can do that, and obviously put Roman Torres in a tough spot in terms of being able to get substantial playing time. The trade is the latest in a string of recent roster moves that Inter Miami has made. They traded Lee Win, they traded Grant Lillard, they waived Luis Argudo, and they sent Jerome Kieswetter and Makoun on loan to Fort Lauderdale CF. So there's been quite a bit of roster movement, quite a bit of a roster reshuffle in recent weeks. And to me, that speaks to a bigger problem that Inter Miami might be having this season in this expansion year. A roster that was put in place, or that was built, was maybe done with a certain idea in mind, and it might not be the idea that Diego Alonso had in mind. Remind you, he came and was hired officially by Inter Miami on December 30th of last year, so that's pretty late in the process, only 2 months and some change before the MLS 2020 season began. And that's something we'll get into in a further video later on here on Miami Total Football. But that about does it for now. Make sure you stay locked into Miami Total Football for more news, analysis, and coverage of Inter Miami as they try to make a push for a playoff spot. And please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'm Franco Panizo. We'll see you next time.